Hey, folks. Yes, I said folks. That's what you say when you're from a small town. You have learned that people have funny ways of greeting people, and folks is one. We're not talking about folks today, but I'm excited to have you on the podcast with me. I'm Tara, your host. And folks, we got a great episode planned for you today. I am flying solo. It's just going to be me on the podcast today, but I'm going to give you some life-changing perspective for your life. Some life-changing perspective that you need that's going to help you weather storms. It's going to help you unlock unlimited success, genuine happiness in your life. And it's probably going to blow your mind a little bit too when we actually tell you what it is that is the major unlock for a truly transformational life experience. So we're going to be talking about something that, and actually this messes with a lot of people. When I give people this permission slip, they're like, say what? Aren't you supposed to be like an inspirational, motivational type person? And you just told me that? Like, I don't understand. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. So I'm just going to go ahead and kick off the entire episode with the permission slip. And that is this. Eliminate your happiness quest. You do not need to be happy 24/7. In fact, it's not the human experience. You are not wired to be happy 24/7. And I'm not really sure like how we got on this happiness quest as a society. You know, I love to ask people this question, like, what do you want in your life? 9 out of 10 times, I get this answer. I just want to be happy. 9 out of 10 times, people say that is their mission in life, is just to be happy. But that is not a life well lived because we can't just turn happiness on like a switch. You know, there's a saying, choose happy. Like, you can't just choose happy. I trust me, I've tried, and we're going to unpack so much of this today. But I got great news for you. You can't just choose happy, but you can create happy. You can create genuine moments of happiness. You can create ongoing success in your life. And it's not by trying to be happy 24/7. It's not by choosing happiness. It's by creating it. So let's talk a little bit more about that. I'm going to give you the secret sauce for how you do that. And then we're really going to dive into that specific subject of how do we create happiness. But we're not happy all the time. Like it's one of our 7 emotions. The human body, the human brain is not wired to be happy 24/7, and it's okay. And if you're not happy right now or you're going through a phase of life, it doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It actually means that you're experiencing life, that you are just human. And so here's what I want you to focus on. You can eliminate your happiness quest. Nobody needs to be happy 24/7. Here's what we're going to focus. Here is the shift that will change your life starting today. You don't need to be happy all the time, but you do need to be fulfilled. You were wired for growth. You were wired to live a meaningful life. You were wired to do kick-ass things, badass things, to push yourself, to stretch yourself, to go all in, to be tenacious, bold, patient, kind, caring, all of those things. That doesn't happen by choosing happiness. It happens by choosing fulfillment. So let's really dig into this. I've got several different examples for you today. I'm going to dig in to really give you that perspective that you need, that next time you're feeling unhappy, wondering what's wrong with you because you're not happy and that was your life's mission, and damn it, I'm supposed to be happy all the time, and I'm not. You're gonna reshift that focus to being fulfilled. Now, you've heard me talk about the human brain, that the human brain is wired to protect you. Okay, so it's constantly on the lookout for danger, for scary things, for bad things. And this is why, this is also why like chasing happiness is just not realistic, because your brain is not wired to just be happy all the time. But what you can do is you can get mentally fit enough to not change how you're feeling, but to change your perspective. So instead of saying, hey, I'm not happy all the time, but I actually am really fulfilled with what I'm doing, That allows you to stay in that frontal cortex of your brain that produces the serotonin and dopamine that allows you to go all in versus living in that fear mode of the back part of the brain where stress and cortisol and all those things live. You were also wired to do really hard things. You were wired to go all in. And this is that subtle shift, that mindset shift that will shift you from the back negative protection part of the brain to this frontal cortex of your brain where you can unlock higher levels of success. You can create genuine happiness and you can go all in on exactly who it is that you came to be. Now, look, it's not surprising that we are obsessed with happiness in our culture. I mean, you cannot pick up your smartphone without someone reminding you to choose happy, to be happy, to get happy, to stay happy, to have only good vibes. I'm guilty. I had a good vibes only sweatshirt at one point in time. It's not that I didn't like it, and it's not that you can't wear your good vibes sweatshirt. It's a great reminder to say like, hey, I'm attracting good energy. I'm putting good energy out. I want good energy to come back in. But just by putting on the shirt doesn't mean that you are just going to have good vibes. Like you have to believe it, you have to live it, and you have to show up like that. But we're sold this, right? This happiness quest. It drives me bonkers when I see someone say, choose happy. I saw it was a high school slogan, and I love it too. I mean, I got high school kids. Like they go through a lot of stuff. There's a lot of hard things, a lot of ups and downs. But telling them just to choose happy doesn't work. We should be telling them how to create happy, how to create those genuine moments that really matter. Because it's not like, again, it's not this switch that we flip and are like, woohoo, I'm so happy. And you know, we're not built to stay in this constant state of bliss. That would actually make us really freaking lazy, unmotivated. We'd be stuck. If you were happy all the time, you know what would happen? You would get really freaking bored. You would get so bored that you'd probably start self-sabotaging yourself just because you wanted to feel something different. You wanted more of a challenge. You wanted to push yourself. Like eventually you would just feel restless. You know, restlessness is not a flaw. It's a signal. Pay attention to what's going on. You know, I always say, you know, people are like, how do I know if it's time to switch jobs? How would I know if it, well, they're like, I don't know, I haven't been really happy in my job lately. Well, you're not happy in your job because you're going through something hard. You're working on a big project. You're putting in extra hours. You're going the extra mile. Is it fulfilling to you still? That's the question you should be asking yourself, because we don't walk away from fulfilling things. Like when we're doing those really fulfilling things, we stay the course. We go all in. And this is why emotional intelligence is so important, because it helps us decode our emotions and how we're feeling so that we can move in the right direction to actually have sustainable change, to create that epic moment of genuine happiness in our life. It allows us to pause and think and say like, hey, what's going on here? Instead of chasing, some high, numbing out, quitting, we don't react, we respond. And that's really, really powerful. So instead of saying, I'm not happy, you need to start asking yourself, okay, if I'm not happy, you can say it. I'm not feeling very happy. Why? And then the question you need to follow that up with is what I'm doing fulfilling? You know, I think you talk to someone who is battling cancer. You know, I remember when my mom was going through breast cancer, if I would have just told her, hey, Mom, I know that you have to have a double mastectomy. Just choose happy. Just choose it, okay? You're fine. Just choose it. That would have been a really fucked up thing to say. You know, I mean, just to be like, hey, that sucks for you, but you could just choose something else. It's just not the way it works. Now, was she happy when she had her double mastectomy and was, fighting for her life for cancer? Hell no, she wasn't happy. Now, did she have some moments of epic happiness just because of things that we were doing together and things we created? Yes, she did. I can also tell you this, that she was deeply fulfilled during that time. She was deeply fulfilled. She saw her strength. She saw her fight. She saw her willingness to go all in and to put her health first and to say, I am going to get through this no matter how sick I feel, no matter how hard this is. Like, I am worth it. And I'm not happy, but man, I am fulfilled. I have, my own strength. I've got my kids, this family, this community that loves me, lifting her up. Like, that was a big deal. And that fulfillment is what fueled her. So get this, happiness, that's the feeling. Happiness is a feeling. Fulfillment is fuel. Fulfillment is fuel. And the people who leave these legacies, the people that we admire, they've never been chasing happy. They've been doing the hard shit. They've been showing up. They've been going all in on their relationships. They've been self-aware about about how they show up, how they make other people feel. And they can really stay focused on doing the fulfilling things, both in relationships and in work. And then they can experience those epic moments of happiness. So I've pulled some examples for you of this really notion of happiness versus fulfillment, because I think at first it's kind of an abstract concept. Like, no one's ever told you, like, you don't need to be happy all the time. Like, quit saying I just want to be happy. Like, you don't need it. Okay, but let's get down to the bottom of it. Hey, it's Tara here, and I am so excited to let you know that the second edition of my book, Be Who You Came to Be, is officially on pre-sale. I originally self-published the book, and now a publishing house has picked up the book, and I'm so excited and so honored that this book will be available in bookstores across the country. However, you don't have to wait till it gets into the bookstore to get your copy. You can go to my website and sign up for your very own pre-sale book, which includes new secrets, new emotional intelligence takeaways to help you step into your authenticity and be exactly who it is that you came to be. Look, you don't need a self-help book to help you fix what's broken. You're not broken. You just need to become more of who you already are. It's why I poured my heart into this book, and I am so excited that a copy is waiting for you. Head over to my website now and get your copy. So let's talk about superheroes. I mean, we've all seen the superhero movies. In fact, every movie in general it's like a quest to find the higher level of happiness, success, world peace, whatever it might be. I mean, all these superhero movies, they kind of all follow the same plot twist. Now, imagine if, Iron Man, Black Panther, Captain Marvel, and Spider-Man were just sitting around drinking margaritas on the beach. That wouldn't be a very fun movie. I mean, eventually it'd be like fun to watch, maybe like a 30-second, 1-minute conversation, but then you're like, oh, this is boring. Like, let's get some action. Let's see what's going on. And none of them became heroes because they were chasing what made them feel good, right? I mean, Iron Man could have stayed a billionaire playboy. Black Panther could have stayed behind the palace walls, and Captain Marvel could have hidden her superpowers to stay safe, but none of them did that. They chose the harder path. They chose the fulfilling path. Because they had something bigger than comfort. They had purpose. Purpose. People always say, what is purpose? Purpose is doing what's fulfilling. It's going the extra mile because you want to make sustainable change. You want to do the right thing. You want to do the hard thing. You want to have that genuine moment of happiness and success. And listen, when you're walking in purpose, you might not feel very happy. You might not feel, but I promise you'll feel grounded. Here's what else you're going to feel. You're going to feel alive. You're going to feel alive as hell because you are doing the things. I want you to think about the last time you felt really alive. When was the last time you felt really alive? Now, run a fulfillment correlation on that. Was it because you were doing something fulfilled? Was it because you were being who you came to be? So let's think about this purpose-driven fulfillment. Let's use Rosa Parks, The Power of Quiet Courage. This woman changed history. And she wasn't trying to make a scene. She wasn't trying to be famous. She was actually tired. Rosa Parks was tired physically, emotionally, spiritually. She kept being told to shrink, to sit in the back of the bus, to not be in the front, to not make a scene, to be quiet. And she said, I can't keep living my life like this. Now, she didn't do this in a quest for happiness. She did this because it was a purpose that she had, that she felt like she needed to fulfill to help other people. She made a very fulfilling decision that forever changed history. Now, she obviously was not happy in that moment, okay? She was probably scared as hell, and she was very, very aware of the risk that she was making with her actions and her decision to sit where she sat. But happiness wasn't the point. Justice was. Dignity was. And emotional intelligence, that's what gave her the courage to sit in that seat and hold her ground. Self-awareness, self-regard, purpose, control, and strength. She did not chase happiness, and she did not choose happiness that day. She chose to stand for something, even if she had to sit down to do it. How are you showing up? Are you chasing the easy, happy thing, or are you walking in your purpose and living with courage every day? I love the story of Rick and Dick Hoyt, this legacy of love and fulfillment. This story gets me every time. Now, if you've never heard of Rick and Dick Hoyt, go Google them. But I'm going to give you the quick heart of the story. But you got to go Google, go look at the videos, go watch the clips, see the pictures. It's a beautiful story. So Rick is the son, and Rick was born with cerebral palsy. He couldn't walk, he couldn't talk. Doctor said, look, put him in an institution, move on. Like this kid is never going to make it. Now, this was way before the technology that we had in the 70s. But they did it because they said, I believe in this child. I see potential behind those eyes. And guess what? Technology started to advance. Rick learned how to communicate using this special device. And then one day he typed this message into the device for his dad. His dad's Dick Hoyt. He said, Dad, I want to start running. I want to start running. And Dick was like, well, you can't run. Like you're in a wheelchair. And he's like, yeah, but you can run. And I want to do this race for a kid at the school who had been paralyzed because of a football accident. So his dad said, all right, fine. I'm going to push you in this one race. We'll do it. And, I want to do this for you, son. They did it. And they got home. And Rick typed into the device, he said, today when we were running, I didn't feel handicapped. And that was when Dick, his dad, who was not a runner, started training for a 5K and then a 10K. And then they did marathons and triathlons and Ironmans. And he pushed his son, Rick, in every single race. He pulled him in a boat while swimming, biked with Rick while riding in front, over 1,000 races. Now, do you think Rick was happy every time that was happening? No. Both Rick and Dick were deeply fulfilled with what they were doing. That is love. That is a legacy of love, and that is doing the fulfilling thing, the hard thing for someone that you care deeply about. How are you showing up in your relationships? Are you going the extra mile? Are you doing the fulfilling thing? Are you taking the easy box because, it's easier for me. I don't want to have to do that. It wasn't easy. It was actually super uncomfortable, but it was full of love, purpose, and legacy. And Dick Hoyt, he became a real-life superhero, not because he chased happiness, because he chased freedom for his son. He wanted his son to have those experiences. And that's fulfillment. That's love and emotion. That is emotional intelligence in its purest form. So I want you to think about your life, those moments that you've had. Maybe you've had one of those moments too where you chose a harder path. The one that didn't feel happy right way, but maybe it felt right. Maybe it felt good. Maybe you really had to put your heart on the line and you had to struggle and, it was hard for you. Maybe it was a career pivot. Maybe it was a hard conversation. Maybe it was a boundary that you had to set. Maybe it was community service that you were doing, going the extra mile for a friend, something that you did at work. Maybe it was walking away from something that it made sense to no one else, but it didn't align with your truths. And maybe you didn't get an applause. Maybe no one even noticed. But man, in your heart of hearts, you knew this is who I came to be. And that's what we're chasing in life, who we came to be. For me, my aha moment of really realizing that I didn't need to be happy all the time, but I needed to focus on a fulfilled life was after the unexpected passing of my father when I was in my 30s. Now, I was the choose happy person, okay? I was like, I'm choosing happy, we're choosing happy, we're all going to be really friggin' happy. And guess what? I was happy. I had nothing major in my life that would cause me to not be happy. I had bad days, but overall, I was happy. And then my dad died unexpectedly, and I was suddenly the most unhappy person that I knew. And I remember the deep grief. And I'm talking grief, I'm talking that achy heart, the burning eyes, the constant, you wake up from a nap, you wake up in the morning, the first thing that you think of is, my dad is no longer with me. How am I going to function? How am I going to keep doing this? I remember thinking will I ever be happy again? Because guess what? I tried to choose happy. I would wake up and say, hey, it's a new day. Choose happy today, Tara. And by 9 a.m., I was in tears. Or I'd be somewhere, it's time to go to one of your son's games. Just choose happy, be happy, go, be grateful, show up for the game, and just be happy the whole time. And then the tears would start rolling when, Jack walked up to the batter's box because my dad wasn't sitting next to me. And it felt so fucking hard to try to be happy all the time. And I wasn't. I'm like, why is this not working? Because we can't suppress emotions and ignore what's going on in our lives. Like, you can't just ignore grief and decide to just be happy. That is not the human experience. It's certainly not emotional intelligence. And that's when I had this epiphany breakthrough. I'm like, okay, I've got to have a new baseline because I am not happy. But what am I? What am I feeling? And I sat in this feeling for weeks of like, I'm not happy. What am I feeling? And I went through a lot of different things. A lot of people say, oh, focus on gratitude. And, I had a lot to be grateful for, but gratitude was hard for me at that time because my dad was taken unexpectedly from me and he was young and I was young and I was not grateful for that. I was grateful for the time we had. And I started thinking more and more. And that's when I realized I'm not happy, but I'm actually really fulfilled. I'm really fulfilled. I had my husband and my kids and my mom and my brothers, and I had this amazing family unit that was with me. I had this community of love and support surrounding me. And I had dark, dark days, but there was so much love in that darkness, and that was fulfilling. And I thought about my relationship with my dad, and I was like, that was the most fulfilling relationship ever. 37 years together. We didn't leave one thing left unsaid. He died unexpectedly. There was never like, I wish I would have said this or I wish I would have done that. It's just how we showed up for each other. And that was deeply fulfilling. And here's what I can tell you. That fulfillment was my life raft during grief. As soon as I took that shift, one, it gave me the permission to navigate my grief, to say, hey, it's okay that you're sad. Of course you're sad. You lost your dad. Like, this is love. This is unsaid love that's going to continue to show up in your life. And you're going to have to learn how to live without him. You're going to have to learn how to get up every day and to not get the call from your dad in the morning or in the middle of the afternoon. You're going to have to relearn all of this, and it's okay. You've got the patience to do it, and you've got the purpose to keep living, and you've got the love from him still. And that was deeply fulfilling, and it was that life raft that I needed every day to get up and keep going. And really what it was emotional intelligence of this perspective. How we approach it is how we conquer it. And trying to conquer every day with, I'm just going to be happy today and then failing. I'm just going to be happy today and then failing again. That sucked. Versus saying, hey, I'm going to wake up today. I'm going to focus on all the fulfilling things I have in my life. I am going to practice gratitude for what I have. But I'm really going to stay focused on being fulfilled. All the little things, the relationships, the work, everything. And I'm going to be fulfilled with the love that I still have from my Father. It gives us clarity on what we really want. And that's a tool. It's like our very own superpower. The awareness to recognize when we're chasing comfort instead of growth. And we've got to have this regulation, this emotional regulation to keep going even when it gets uncomfortable. So EQ, emotional intelligence, is the difference of saying, I don't need to be happy, I need to be fulfilled. Emotional intelligence is the difference between saying, hey, I'm not happy, so I must be doing something wrong. Something's wrong with me. This work is bad. This relationship is bad, whatever. So I'm not happy. Versus saying, this is hard. It matters. I'm doing something right. What's fulfilling here? What needs to move? What needs to shift? It helps us go from reaction to response, from impulse to intention, and from happiness to fulfillment. You guys, this one revelation in your life will change everything for you. You don't need to be happy all the time, but you do need to be fulfilled. You came to grow, you came to lead, you came to be who you came to be. And that's going to require you to be tenacious and bold and persistent and, fulfilled and patient and kind, forgiving. Whatever it might be, whether it's work or a relationship, I really want you to think about it. I want you to run a fulfillment inventory. If you can get out a piece of paper at some point in time and just start writing down all the things that are fulfilling to you, I guarantee you those things are what every epic moment of happiness and success has been built on, is you doing the hard shit, the fulfilling stuff, the relationships and the work. You don't need to live a transactional happy life. Now, there's plenty of boxes that you can check. And here's the thing, check some of them, go do it. Go have those little happy moments of like, you know what, I splurged on this jacket because I've worked my butt off and I just wanted it, right? Do it. Get that little happiness dopamine every now and then. There's nothing wrong with it, but just don't make it your quest. Don't make it how you're showing up every day. And certainly don't tell yourself to just choose happy when you're navigating the hard things. Tell yourself to choose fulfilled. So if you've been feeling off or bored or stuck or restless, let me tell you something. It doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It doesn't mean that you're broken. It doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It means you're finally ready to do it right, to focus on what's fulfilling, to grow, to lead, to love, and to show up for other people. So let that be enough today. I just wanted to give you that little that nugget. It's truly transformational, truly transformational. Next time it's tough, next time you want to walk away, next time whatever it is, ask yourself, is this fulfilling to me? I promise you'll go the extra mile. You'll be the superhero. You'll have the courage that Rosa Parks did. You'll have the purpose that the superheroes had because they knew that they had to go out there and do what they did because of their gifts and talents and authenticities, all those things you have too. And you'll be able to lead with love like Dick Hoyt did and do that for his son because that's what mattered most. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast today. If you loved it, please share it with someone. Go give us a review. Keep shining your light. Thanks for tuning in. I love that I get to do this. I love that I get to be on this weekly journey with you. For that, I'm grateful for, and that fulfills me. Keep shining your light, live unapologetically authentic, and be who you came to be.